to welcome you to our channel today. And we are just so warm and cozy on this fall Friday morning at my sister's house. Thank you for hosting us today. And she's decorated so beautifully. And this fire feels wonderful. You know, we are about to enter a time of Thanksgiving and the Thanksgiving holidays.
Yes.
And it's always wonderful to be with family, and so glad that we have a special holiday to give thanks and to enjoy one another.
Yes, you know, I often, well, Thanksgiving and Christmas are my two favorites.
Yes.
But Thanksgiving, for some reason, seems almost warmer because you're not quite as hyped up, you know, you're not quite as stressed. You're usually with family members sitting around the table eating. And I love them both though, but Thanksgiving, we're just thankful to have that wonderful holiday.
And actually the book that I want to review first off, Carla,
Okay.
is one that daily helps me to give thanks to our Lord. And it is a devotional book that is written by Sarah Young. She has written 12 or 13 of these devotional books over the last 15 or 16 years. The very first one was Jesus Calling, and it has sold millions of copies. And the one I'm using right now is Jesus Listens.
Which I have both, and you gave me this one. You might have given me Jesus Calling. I'm not sure, but anyway, they are very wonderful devotionals.
They are, and Jesus Calling was given to me by my oldest daughter on my birthday, and she gave me this one for my birthday, Jesus Listens, and I gave it to you.
Yes, you
because
did.
It is so special. It speaks to your heart. It's prayers that are just beautiful, out of a time of a prayer journaling that Sarah Young did. And she has scripture intertwined in the prayer, and then at the very bottom are the references. So I am thankful for this particular devotional book.
She has a gift, as a lot of people do, but she has that of being able to put into words what we're all wanting to be able to express. It's simple. It's not some great philosophical thing. It's just her heart talking to our Lord and her heart listening to him. So I agree, Gail. Those are wonderful for any time of year. But
and she has written a couple that are specifically for children. So
okay. All right. Well, my first one that I'm going to do is a mystery by P.D. James. And it's called Sleep No More. And I did not realize it. There's a couple of things I did not realize. I thought P.D. James was a man, but it's not a man. It's a lady.
Sounds like it would be.
It does sound like it would be a man. And I also did not know that this was a book of short stories, which I don't normally gravitate to, but I have to tell you, I absolutely so enjoyed each of these stories. Some a little better than others, but all of them were very easy to read. And P.D. James, I looked up a little bit about the author. Her name is Phyllis Dorothy James, and she has written series of books. She has movies that have been made, TV series that have been made from her novels, many, many novels. She's very, very famous. She did pass away, I think, in 2014, but she wrote about a police commissioner and a port, Adam Dalglish, I believe is his name. And one of her most famous books is Death Comes to Pemberley. But I highly recommend her. She likes to write about people's psychology of why they're going to commit a murder. Sometimes she writes about people who knew who did the murder, but maybe they don't want to say. You know, it's very intriguing. very surprise ending for all of them. So I highly recommend her. I'm going to be picking up definitely some more of her novels. P.D. James, Sleep No More.
And how many stars, Carla? Are we going to give our stars today?
Yes, we are. I always forget, but I think of 5. And maybe that's because I was so surprised.
Ooh,
I just wasn't.
Because that's your top. You don't do that a lot.
I think she's really going to be one of my top favorite mystery writers.
All right, and I'm getting my notes ready because I do need some notes today. I only have one book that I can hold up, and it's wonderful, though, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. And this is a book that was recommended by my sister. She's so well read, and it actually ended up being in our Books for Keep book haul, and I think you'll be seeing that video possibly before this one. Is that right, Carla? Will that one come out before this one? Well,
Definitely.
I picked this one up first to read, and it really is the very first novel by Delia Owens. She however, she's a co-author of 3 internationally best-selling nonfiction books for her life as a wildlife scientist in Africa. She actually won the John Burroughs Award for nature writing. So some of the knowledge that she attained and her experience in Africa comes out in this book. The very first line, as you open up the book, it says, "How long can you protect your heart?" So the book is about a young girl named Kaya. She is known around Barkley Cove, North Carolina, that's the setting, as Marsh Girl. And this area of North Carolina is a true, beautiful area. There's a lot of marshland and gorgeous wildlife, but Barkley Cove, the name, is fictional. This is true to it's a historical fiction because it's true to the area there and for some things that would happen.
That brings up something, Gail, and I meant to look it up and I didn't. But when we say historical fiction, does that mean necessarily that it is based on some truths, or could it just be that it's fiction written about an historic time?
And I may have misnamed that because I do read so many that are historical fiction, but let me look real quick and see. Maybe I am incorrect in calling this one historical fiction.
Well, I don't know, and I meant to look it up. I have a feeling that you can have both types fall under it. Those that are just totally fiction, but are about history, a time in history, and those that can have some truth, some based truth on it. So, but
the area.
This is total fiction, except for her knowing about the area, probably writing about the types of marshes and things that grow.
Okay.
I mean the crawdads.
Yes, and Kaya has survived in this particular marshy part of North Carolina alone for most of her life. As a child, everyone in her family, one by one, left. She's the youngest of 5, and the 2 oldest children left. They were older and got married and left and did leave the area. And then her brother that was closest to her and that was really her rock left. Her mother left. That's the one that devastated her the most. Her mother left when she was very young, maybe 5 years old.
Left her alone?
Yeah, with the dad. She was left with the dad. And so because they were basically poor and lived off the land, the dad was not a good influence. He was prone to getting drunk and to abuse, and really I think that's why the mother actually left. But he is there with her for a while, and then one day he walks out and never comes back. So she is just growing up wondering really what is love all about. She survives. Her friends are mostly the gulls, the herons, the little animals on the beach. She literally goes out and feeds the gulls, and they come and sit with her and light on her hand. They become her friends. She's looked down upon if she even has to get near the town to get groceries, and she tries to make money by digging up mussels and selling them at a little place. So she had a hard life, and yet the nature and the beauty that comes out in that becomes so much a part of her. She starts to draw and paint the birds and the animals and the
Gail,
marshes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, interrupt.
I have a habit.
Because you read the book. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm starting to wonder if I'm confusing it, because I also thought that there was a murder mystery.
Okay, I'm going to get to that.
Oh, okay.
And I'm almost through, because I know we're supposed to be not
well,
quite.
no,
that's why I have my notes.
And it had something to do with some of the popular people in town or something.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
She yearns for human touch and love, and there are two men in the town that are attracted to her natural beauty. And one of them she meets as she's paddling through the marsh with the little boat. She sees this young man, and he loves to fish and loves to be out there.
I am listening. I have to stoke the fire.
Okay.
If I don't have a big fire, I'm not happy. So
please go right ahead.
I'm going to stoke the fire.
His name is Tate, and he really becomes her first friend. And he will leave her feathers from the different birds, the local birds that he might find. He will leave them on a stump. And it's a little while before she realizes it's Tate that's doing that. She opens up her heart to Tate and to another young man, and begins to wonder about what really is love. What is personal love? Because she had no touch from her father. The mother left her when she was so very young. She does remember her mother loving her so much and singing to her and cooking. So there's some wonderful memories there. But, now she's a teenager, and just wondering about what does love really mean. This book will touch your heart in so many levels, because as Carla mentioned, there is a murder mystery, and so that happens, and it's tragic. It's very tragic. And
does she get kind of maybe one of the ones they think might have done it?
They begin to wonder is she a suspect? So pick up this movie, Where the Crawdads Sing.
That's not a movie.
Well, pick up this book, and you know why I said movie?
It is a
My
movie.
brain was saying, tell them it was also made into a movie, Carla. So that's why I said it was made into a movie this year, 2022. It was made into a movie.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I would definitely give this book a 5, Carla.
Okay.
I love to give out 5s, and I truly...
Well, you told me, because we talked on the phone the other day, and you said, I have already finished that book. I started it one morning, finished it the next day. It was
I started it Friday evening, read a lot of it Saturday, finished it Sunday afternoon.
Oh,
yes. So
yeah.
It's a page turner. You will love it.
Okay. And you gave it a 5.
I did.
And my next book, and we have been talking a lot lately about this author. I happened to look up the pronunciation of her name, and her name is Ruta Sepetys. And she says the way to know how to say her last name is to think of spaghetti. And you say Sepetys.
So I've been saying it so wrong.
Well,
Sepetys,
yeah,
that's not it. Sepetys.
Sepetys, yeah,
All right.
like spaghettis. And her parents were immigrants from Lithuania. Now, this is her most recent novel. She wrote it this year, and it's called I Must Betray You. And it's based in Romania, and it's about the dictatorship rule of Nicolae Ceausescu. Chachusco. I look those
Are
up.
you sure you're pronouncing that one correctly?
I look them up. I listen. Oh, you know what? Yeah, because I wrote it like it sounded, not like it's really spelled. So it's Nikolai Ceausescu, and he was one of the cruelest dictators. They say he was worse than Stalin. Him and his wife, she was like the prime minister. They had millions and millions. Gail, the people, as you know, Ruta tends to write about countries that are in very desperate times. Yeah. And the people would have to stand in line, it's a communist country, just to get a little cooking oil. Their electricity would be turned off at random. They were not allowed to have TV. They were not allowed to have radio unless it was the Romanian radio. But one of the most horrible things that was going on was they had a group of people called the Secretariat. It was a secret group of people that they would have spying on their own people. And I mean, there were this young man, Christian, he's the main character. He's 17, he's in high school, and he has a grandfather, Buna, that he loves so very much, and he has leukemia. So one day after school, Christian gets called to the office, and there's a couple of gentlemen in there, and they tell him that he's going to have to start being one of their spies. And if he does that, they're going to give medicine to his grandfather. And if not, they will make sure that the grandfather doesn't live. So he did not want to, but he started. But he managed, even while he was spying on the American ambassador, because his mother cleaned for them. That was one reason they got him, because he could go with his mother when she cleaned, and he got actually fairly close to the ambassador's son, Dan. And throughout the movie, it becomes so paranoia. People tell on him, he tells on other people, he doesn't know who to trust. It's really intriguing. It's very sad, but they do have a revolution, and this is true. It started in December 1989, and he does get swept up in it and become a part of it, and he gets arrested and beaten, and his very close friend is shot. He doesn't know if he's alive, and there is a sad twist at the end as to who is the person that has really been spying, and it's a family member. And he felt so torn because he was a spy, and he loved his family, and he loved the people, and he loved his country. But what he tried to do when he would go give his information, he would just tell general stuff, nothing that he felt would really give them any specific political ammunition or anything like that. But very interesting book. I really enjoyed it. And it is my second of hers to read. Gail has got, I think, a couple to review today. So I recommend it very much. I'm going to give it a 4 because it is written more on a YA level. And even though I enjoyed it, I think to give it a 5, it would have to have gone into a little bit more depth of really what was going on. Okay, Gail, we're going to stop for just a moment and be back. So see you in just a second.
We took a little break and stoked the fire a bit, and it feels so warm and cozy. My turn to go, and it looks like, Carla, today is going to be Ruta Sepetys. Is that right? Like
yes.
Spaghetti.
Yes.
Sepetys. It's going to be her day because I'm now going to review another one of her books. And it is a historical fiction book The Fountains of Silence.
That scared me off, Gail, because it was thick.
It was. But it was one that you definitely wanted to keep reading. And I do not have the book with me, so I know Josh will be able to put the picture up like he always does. But this book is historical fiction. It's a story, a gripping story about love, silence, and secrets under the Spanish dictatorship of General Francisco Franco. He had just...
Yours was easier to pronounce than mine.
I guess it was. There had been a civil war, and the independent party had lost, and now this dictator had taken over. It opens up in Madrid, 1957, and the city of Madrid is just beautiful. They have a brand new hotel that has been built, fancy Hilton, I believe it's part of the Hilton. And so they are attracting businessmen and tourists. They're promising the beautiful warmth of the sun and all of the vineyards and the wonderful wines that are there. But outside of Madrid, it's a different story. Most of the area is poor, devastated, just cannot enjoy even most of the comforts of life. But this is not known as you're traveling in Madrid.
Kind of sounds like Mexico, what I've heard of Mexico. Now, Gail, did you say about what time frame? What?
1957.
Okay.
1957. So a family from Texas is coming to visit. The father is an oil tycoon. The mother actually was born in Spain. So she has roots there, and she's so excited. They're so excited to bring their son Daniel to visit the country, her birth country, and for the father to see about doing a deal, a business deal with his oil company. Now, the son Daniel has just turned 18, and he's so interested in photography. That is his passion. He seems to be gifted in it. His father does not want him to follow that, wants him to join the company, the oil company. It's very lucrative. They're very wealthy, but he is hoping to bring his father around to what he wants to do. He is putting together a portfolio of pictures, and he will be entering them into a contest to win a scholarship to go to school, because his father will not pay for him to go to the school to learn photography, journalistic photography, whatever. So he's there with a little bit of a heavy heart, but he's got his camera, and he has his pictures, and he's taking pictures. And one of the workers in the hotel, Anna, she's another main character. She is the one that takes care of this family, makes sure they have everything they need in their rooms, and room service, and the sheets turned down, and all of that. So he meets her, and there's a little bit of a spark there. She's very quiet, very silent. You don't share much, particularly when you're a part of the lowest of the lowest. And she's so fortunate to get this job. She can make a little bit of money, and she and her family are trying to save up to be able to move out of what we would call the ghetto.
In the ghetto.
Right. You are such a singer about
I
all
know
the things
it.
that
It does.
beautiful. You have a beautiful voice. But so right away she looks down, she doesn't want to get involved at all. But slowly but surely there is an attraction there.
And a trust develops, probably.
Yes, it does. It does. The truth about what's going on does begin to come out as Daniel is taking some photographs. And he's even almost arrested as he takes a picture of a nun as she's rushing from the orphanage that is there with the little baby. She's holding the baby. Daniel can tell that this baby doesn't seem to be moving. It has a strange color. And so he's able to capture that picture. Well, nearby is a part of the guards that Franco has all over the country. And they notice him take the picture. They grab his camera, grab him. They demand for the film. Of course, Daniel can speak fluent Spanish. His mother taught him that at home. She wanted him to know Spanish, and so he's able to understand what they're saying. He does.
Do they know that he can understand them?
No, I'm thinking he doesn't, but he hands them the film.
Mm-hmm.
They let him keep his camera, but they take the film, and they are very harsh with him. And he finds out that that's a problem, taking pictures, certain pictures. There are several stories that are woven among this, all based on historical truth. And it keeps you engaged because you want to know what is going to happen with the young girl that works at the orphanage. That's one of the stories.
Mm-hmm.
You want to find out, does maybe something wonderful happen with Daniel and Anna? There is an underlying horror that's going on of stealing babies, taking them to that orphanage, and then selling adoptions. I'm hearing more and more about that. I reviewed that book by Lisa Wingate.
Yes.
So pick up this book.
What do you rate it, Gail?
The Fountains of Silence. I would rate this one, I think I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay.
Just because there is so much that's going on, and it really goes in depth into what was happening to the people, truthfully happening to the people and to the country at that time. And so,
I think sometimes, same author, some of her books are deeper. They're more in depth.
This one, it is.
And this one that I shared about was a little bit more on the simple,
Right.
It was very good. But it was not, you didn't really get deep into what was going on and things of that nature.
This one did, as well as the character. So when you've got all of that going on and there's a little bit of mystery.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.